back here on the program. He zoomed in a little bit over a year ago, and he's one of my favorites. And I'm not just saying that because he's listening to me introduce him in advance of Black Bag, the new Steven Soderbergh movie with him and Cate Blanchett and Pierce Brosnan, just to name a few, that's available in theaters near you next Friday, March 14th. One of the stars of one of my favorite shows as well, The Agency, Michael Fassbender, is back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, Michael. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Good, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Where have I found you? Are you in your home? Are you in a spot? Where have I found you, Michael? Where are
I'm
you?
in a hotel room in New York.
Ah, okay. And are we premiering? Is this a premiere night or something like that? Or what is this the premiere?
Tomorrow night.
Fantastic.
Tomorrow night's the premiere.
Fantastic.
Yeah, here in New York.
Well, I'm looking forward to so many people seeing this movie, Michael, because it's just a great sort of pop culture, fun, fast moving, makes you think film that just is as great as Steven Soderbergh has been, and it's a lot of fun. I'm wondering what you thought of it, Michael.
Yeah, I think, Steven's definitely made a movie. It's very much a movie, and I think, best seen at the theaters for sure. I worked with him 15 years ago now on a film called Haywire. And he's just, he's a very unique filmmaker. He's got such a knowledge of how to run a film, how to work a film, all the different departments. I mean, he's the DP, he operates the camera, obviously he's the director, and then he edits as well. So he's a pretty extraordinary person.
So have you had the experience where you shoot a scene and by the end of the night he's editing it together in his car ride home and it's in your email box and you can see what you just shot, fully formed, fully everything? Michael, have you had that experience with him?
He doesn't really share that like on a daily basis, but I remember when we shot Haywire, we were shooting in Dublin, and everything that we shot in that 2 weeks, by the time we wrapped in Dublin, he had it on a screen for, the sort of wrap party in Dublin for the whole crew to watch. And I'd sort of been around in his hotel room after we'd shot, and you just see him sort of working away on his laptop. He's just very unique in that respect. And the script was also, just from the get-go when I got it, with very intelligent writing and funny, and it just sort of moved very fast. So I knew the sort of, between David's script and Steven behind the camera, that it was going to be something special, and thankfully it worked out that way.
Well, this film and obviously The Agency, you're kind of, it's somewhat similar in the fact that you play a spy where we're wondering if you're true to your craft or the love in your life. Michael, seems like there's a little bit of similarity here, right?
Very much so. It was sort of just one of those things where both projects came to me in the same week, and wanted the opportunity to do both, and it worked out that I could. So I've kind of, been sort of delving into the spy world quite a lot in the last year. It's frightening, actually, to think of doing a job like that. I would be a terrible spy in reality.
Why is that? Why?
Just the sacrifice.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In terms of actually having relationships in your life, which makes this sort of film, Black Bag, interesting because there is that relationship at the core of it. It's sort of about marriage and what to tell your significant other and what you should keep to yourself. And they have that bond, Cate Blanchett plays my wife. And the question is in the film, where do your loyalties lie with your country or your spouse?
Yeah, and James Bond back in the day is in this film as well, and Pierce Brosnan. Not too bad.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Handsome man. And very nice.
Is he
very
really?
Nice man.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
All right.
That is the case. And fun to have, an ex-Bond in the film. I think, Steven really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and you got in terms of The Agency as well, Richard Gere in any scene that you and he are in together. Jeffrey Wright, who's been a guest of this show multiple times in studio, the scenes just crackle when you guys are on the screen together. I imagine, is that the first time you ever worked with Richard Gere, Michael?
Yes, and it was funny because when I was doing scenes with Richard Gere, internally I was going, "I'm doing a scene with Richard Gere. Keep it together." It was quite surreal. I've been a big fan for a long time, and he's a movie star. You can see that immediately when he comes on screen. Very special, and Jeffrey got on great with him. He's just wonderful to work with, and a huge football fan, as I'm sure you guys are aware.
Yes, indeed. And his team actually, yes, he did. And his team did very well. And he couldn't have been, he was over the moon about his team.
I know. We talked about the Commanders pretty much every day. And so when we sort of broke, I was following them, because of Jeffrey. I was like, wow, they're doing really well. And they kind of went almost all the way.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Michael, last time you were on, we had a fun segment with you called Celebrity True or False, where we asked you so much of your career, what was true and what was not. And your career is so vast, we have a whole new batch of these for you right now. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Celebrity True or False with Michael Fassbender, a Black Bag in theaters near you next Friday, March 14th. Hit it.
Celebrity True or False?
You can't handle the truth.
All right, the questions are different, but the production value to lead us off is the same, Michael, right there. We haven't changed our open.
Yeah, why change something that works?
Thank you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. First up, true or false, Michael, you've been known to read a script up to 300 times before you film it. Is that true?
True. Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm a slow learner. I'm not very smart.
And here I thought, you're just committed to your craft. You really have to learn your character. No, huh? You're slow learner.
Necessity. Yeah. It's just something I've always done. In a kind of way, just by the repetition of it, things just start to ferment and distill. And I just always want the sort of the lines to be sort of rotten back there somewhere, so I don't even, I never have to think about them. I don't have to worry what scene's coming up on what day. I'm just, ready for it.
Is there a script that was so, I guess, complex or deep that on your 250th reading of it, you were actually picking up new stuff? Anything like that in your career, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the toughest one was Steve Jobs, because that was close to 200 pages. So at any one time, I had sort of 60 pages in here. I kind of broke it up into the 3 acts. So I learned the first, 60 pages. We shot that, the next 60 pages, and then sort of the final act. And doing the agency was tricky because, it's sort of 10 episodes as opposed to just, an hour and a half or whatever film might be. So, and it was kind of impossible for me to learn all 10 as going in. So I was sort of working, episodically through them, learn the first 2. And then when we're shooting the first 2, I'm learning 3 and 4 and so forth.
Man, so you would be doing this even for television then? This is not just film. This is your process.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
That's impressive. Next up, Michael, true or false, to prepare for Band of Brothers, speaking of a television program that you did, you and your fellow actors went through a 10-day boot camp where you were called by your actual characters' names, not your own. Is that true?
That is true.
Where did that happen?
Just outside London. Where were we? It was a sort of old it's a training area that the British Army use. But we had all, equipment from, 1942. So we were, we stayed out, sort of did overnight sort of camps. Wow, look at that. Yeah, there's Tom Hardy as well.
Yes, indeed.
Look how young I am there. Whoa. And it was a lot of fun. That is the fun thing about being an actor. You get to kind of dip your toe in and sort of experience something quite intensely without having to really do it. But yeah, we all went off. There was a core group of us that sort of went on that 10-day boot camp.
Is there somebody who crapped out of it? Let's be honest. Somebody crapped out of it, Michael?
I don't know. I think maybe we had to do runs, where you go on the sort of, I don't know how many mile runs, and maybe a couple of people sort of peeled off. But I remember my worry was always like, I must make sure I go to the toilet before we go out and do these sort of maneuvers all day. Because otherwise, you're grabbing a tree and trying to sort of, take a jungle shit.
You caught me with that one, Michael. I'm not gonna lie. You caught me.
That's quite an image. We didn't need to see that or imagine it.
No, it's a different band of brothers right there. I would agree. A different one. All right. Next up, true or false, Michael Fassbender. You drew inspiration for your android character, David, in Prometheus from David Bowie and the Olympic diver Greg Louganis. Is that true?
That is true. Yes.
All right. Walk me through that process.
Okay. I always remember Greg Louganis from when I was a kid watching the Olympics.
Right.
Just by the way he walked. I found it quite unusual.
Okay.
And so that always stuck with me. And I thought there was something quite neutral about his sort of physique. And so I took that sort of, physicality. And then there was something, androgynous about David Bowie, which I thought would lend quite nicely to the character of David. And so the film, The Man Who Fell to Earth, watched that, and there was elements of the character there. And then Dirk Bogarde from The Servant. That was one of the sort of films that Ridley told me to watch. So it was a sort of combination of all those things. And then, of course, Peter O'Toole and Lawrence of Arabia, that the sort of character himself sort of, models himself on.
And that was part of the process right there. Okay, so you just were watching Olympic diving as a kid and had no idea that this was going to stick in your head for a character that you're creating?
I know, it's weird, the things that, it's weird, the sort of the recall that happens, why he sort of, why it's stuck in my head and came back for this character.
Okay. I guess it's better than Eddie the Eagle, right? That British ski jumper who just kept on flopping,
What an incredible story. I mean, that guy was so brave.
He was.
I mean, to go down those ramps.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Could have been the agony of defeat, if you never know that. I've got two more for you, Michael Fassbender. You mentioned Haywire before. That's the last time you worked with Steven Soderbergh before, again, Black Bag, which is in theaters next Friday, March 14th. During the hotel brawl in that film, Haywire, Gina Carano was not supposed to hit you at all with a vase, but she got so caught up in the moment, she actually smashed you in the face with it. Is that a true story from this film?
That is false, because I don't think I would probably still be knocked out.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah. Thank God is right. That was like a pretty intense scene. And I remember, like, one of the guys that was training us, Special Forces character, was like asking him to, asking Gina to kick him. And he kept like egging her on, and then she kicked him, and I think he had like a dead leg for about 2 or 3 days.
From Special Forces? She dead legged a Special Forces guy?
Yeah. No, she was powerful, that's for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this scene.
Quite
Okay, so she did not smash you in the face with a vase. That did not happen.
Oh, the vase does hit me in the head, but it's a breakaway glass.
Oh, thank God. Okay, very good. Thank goodness gracious. All right. All right, we can't mess with the moneymaker. All right, last one. Is it true, Michael Fassbender, or false, that you were considered for the role of Kylo Ren in Star Wars The Force Awakens before the role went to Adam Driver? Is that true?
That is not true, but I wish.
Yeah? You'd have been in you're open to the Star Wars universe, is what you're saying?
I would have liked to have played that part, yeah. But they never came to me for it.
That's not true then. Okay. What about the in your career as well, in the X-Men universe as well? Do you still have the Magneto helmet somewhere? Does that exist somewhere for you?
That's so weird. I was just talking to somebody about that. I should have stolen at least one helmet. I don't have any of the helmets, which is like so stupid of me, because if times get hard, at least I could sell the helmet. Excuse the pun, but it's sort of I don't have any of them. I'm so stupid. I should have swiped one at least.
Huh? You should have. Okay. What do you have from any of your films? Do you have anything? Do you keep anything? Anything from your?
I
history?
do. I did a film called Frank, where I wore this big head throughout the sort of film. Really, there's only one scene where sort of my face is revealed, and I did take that head.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to go anywhere on the open market, Michael. I'll be honest with you. The Frank head, you should have taken the Magneto. You should have done it.
It's definitely a niche audience, for the Frank head.
There's no Frank Con? Is that what you're saying? It's nothing like that?
No, but there is a dedicated following out there. They're just not as big as the X-Men.
Go figure that. What a pleasure to chat with you again, Michael. Again, we're big fans here on the program. The agency is awesome. When is season 2? When do you go back to work for that, Michael?
We start shooting again end of April.
Oh, so that's right around the corner. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so enjoy this time. Can't wait for everybody to see Black Bag. Thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You bet. That's Michael Fassbender back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Black Bag in theaters near you next March 14th. It was a lot of fun.
Do you change that saying, there's a Fassbender bleep in the woods?
Oh, my God. I've never heard of that phrase before.
He's cracking up.
He laughed so hard. I was laughing at him laughing at that.
Was that is he still
laughing?
Was that the original name of the Jungle Book? I didn't know. If you
A Fassbender poops in the woods,
Yeah, you get the leverage off the tree,
Oh,
okay. So you don't fall back into
I didn't know there was a plan.
the squatting position. So I've been told.
Talked it out. Talked it out.
gotta have them good knees.
Thanks again, Michael. There we go, Michael Fassbender. We needed that extra information. I just thought it would just, be out of necessity. I had no idea it was the whole strategy.
Because you think about it, you fall into it or something.
Oh, my God. All right. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.